We're now in the midst of the summer slowdown market. Yes, there's more inventory available, but a lot of it is old inventory, stale inventory that hasn't sold. People are looking for specific properties. They're still kind of complaining that there's something new that they actually like on the market. And the next question is, well, what's going to happen in the fall? How is the fall market going to play out? I stopped by Global News Morning and had a 5-minute conversation live in their studio about what I anticipate is going to happen in the fall of 2023 for the Toronto real estate market. I'm going to play that interview for you now. If you have any questions about it, please let me know in the comments. Hope you're having a great day and enjoy the interview.
Welcome back to Global News Morning. Well, there's no question about it. The housing market continues to be a hot topic for many in the GTA. Now, whether you're buying, selling, or renting, it can be really stressful. It can be daunting. It can be just intimidating overall. So joining me now is Tom Storey from Royal LePage Signature Realty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Well, welcome back, because we do have to get an update on this. During the summer season, we've seen probably some of the hottest temperatures when it comes to the forecast. But when it comes to real estate, it looks like things are cooling down a little bit.
They have actually slowly started to cool down. Now, this does happen typically every single summer, but it was surprising to a lot of people that when we started 2023, we actually saw 5 months in a row of house prices going up, which people didn't expect, especially with all the rate hikes that we saw last year. Now, the last 2 months, we have seen it slowly go down, and I would anticipate August is going to continue on that trend. So maybe a little bit of silver lining for some buyers out there that it's not as competitive right now. And the inventory is continuing to build. At the end of last month, there's about 15,000 active listings in the GTA. Earlier this year, there was 10,000.
Okay.
So we're slowly building. And to give context, like 2008, there was 25,000 active listings. So we're not quite where we need to be to get like a calm market, but it's better than it was.
Yeah, and when it comes to the pendulum, where's it swinging at this point? Is it the buyer's market or is it the seller's market?
So we're in a weird transition zone right now. The last 2 rate hikes that happened, when the sellers coming to the market, they're looking at the prices from May, which I believe is probably the peak of 2023, and they're saying, I want that. And the buyer's saying, well, there's other options now. I'm not going to give you that. It's kind of like this face-off, right? And we're going to see how long it happens here. But right now, still fundamentally in most markets in Toronto for houses, it is a seller's market. But condo inventory is starting to build up. It's pushing more to the balance side. For it to get to the buyer's market, we're going to have to see a lot more listings in September, adding to what we already have. But it's not as extreme as it was to start the year.
Well, I always squeeze in a little daily walk, and I get a little nosy. You know, I'm looking at what houses are on sale or for lease. And interestingly enough, I'm seeing a lot of houses, for example, remain on the market for quite some time. And so let's break it down right now. When it comes to the seller's market, if someone is looking to sell right now, what is the current situation? Is it a good idea, not so good idea? Is it better to wait?
I think if you look at September, it's going to be a pretty good time. We're going to have a typical fall market, but there's a few things you'd have to look at as a seller. So when you hear like the broad stats, you go like, okay, the market is doing this or it's doing this, but you have to look at the micro market stats. So you have to know in your actual area, based on the type of property that you have, whether that's a condo, semi-detached, detached property, or townhouse, how many exist, how many are currently on the market, and where does yours rank? Obviously, staging and pricing is the most important, but sellers right now, I think September will be a relatively good time, but I don't think it's going to be what May was. I think May was that top price this year.
So does that mean as a buyer, it might be on the flip side, be kind of a bit more positive?
Yeah, so and as you see prices kind of come down here a little bit, it's directly correlated to what the interest rates did, right? So yes, you can get it at slightly lower price, but your mortgage might be slightly higher. So really what you want to focus on is the actual carrying cost of the property, and I think buyers can have more patience now than they previously did.
And it's interesting because once upon a time, my parents were new Canadians. And obviously, before they bought their home, they were renters. They were able to find a place to rent and then eventually be able to afford a home. Now, that seems a little bit more like a fantasy than a reality for a lot of folks. And latest numbers, I think it's about 500,000 new Ontarians. So that's a lot more on the market in terms of competing for housing. So when it comes to renting, where are we at?
The rental market right now is the most extreme I've seen it in a decade of doing this, and that's on competition and the price point. When the interest rates started going up, it actually pushed the rental market up as well, because a lot of people that were on the cusp of getting in were pushed back down to the rental market and they couldn't do anything. So it is extremely competitive. We put out a rental yesterday. We got 3 offers on it in like 4 hours. So if you are someone that is a tenant looking to rent, have everything ready. Have your credit report, have your employment letter ready, work with someone that's professional that knows what's going on, because the good properties are moving extremely fast. I don't see this changing at any point soon. It's going to be very competitive out there.
So looking ahead, you mentioned about the interest rates. I mean, what is the general forecast looking like for Toronto and then also, you know, across Canada in terms of the housing situation, whether you're buying, selling, or renting?
Yeah, so for interest rates moving forward, the overnight rate from Bank of Canada is currently at 5. We started at 0.25, so a lot has changed in the last 18 months. We don't anticipate a ton more rate hikes this year, but a lot of buyers are thinking, well, maybe I buy now, my rate's a little bit higher, I'll take a 1 to 2 year fixed rate, but then after that, the rates will go down.
Yeah.
And maybe they will, because inflation is getting under control, but I don't think they're going to go down as fast as people anticipate. So buy what you can afford today. Don't buy just because you think they're going to go down.
Well, at the end of the day, I feel like finding a place to live might be even easier than getting Taylor Swift tickets. So there's some hope there, right? There's some positivity there. Tom Storey, thank you so much from Royal LePage Signature Realty. Thank you very much for coming in and giving us the latest forecast when it comes to the housing market.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. If you have not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. And remember, home is where your story begins.